Live from the PCTV studios, the Monday Morning Quarterback. Your host, Dave Ridenour.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of the Vallejo Stun Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show. I'm Dave Ridenour, the Monday Morning Quarterback, and tonight we're going to change some gears up on you a little bit, and we're going to talk hoops. We have our annual preview show for local basketball, both the boys and the girls here this evening. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We've got a couple of former coaches. We got a couple of coaches who are currently coaching right now. We got a bunch of guys waiting to get on here, and we're going to have some fun as we break down the Pioneer Athletic Conference basketball season. So as we normally do, we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the area in local hoops. So stay tuned for more right here on the PCTV Network studio station.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this.
Yeah.
At Vallejo Stun Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vallejo Stun Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Stun Insurance, and we're in your community.
Doc's Irish Pub, the hottest new sports bar around. From live entertainment to countless draft beers. From awesome burgers to the new outside tiki bar. Numerous TVs and Doc's friendly service. Doc's Irish Pub is the place to be. Stop by Doc's today for a leisurely lunch, a quick cold beer, or a delicious bite to eat on a fall night. Doc's Irish Pub. This portion of Monday Morning Quarterback is brought to you by A to Z Furniture. A to Z Furniture is located on 296 South Reading Avenue in Boyertown.
And we're back here on the Vallejo Stun Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback. Again, I'm Dave Ridenour. And before we get rolling here, I wanted to say, again, special thanks. We had a great time last Monday night in our annual cook-off show. This year we did soup. We had a soup cook-off, and we also had a blueberry pie eating contest, which was a lot of fun. And I want to thank all the people at the Hooks again for their generosity in hooking us up. And there's our guy, Bill Carr. Bill Carr Sr., actually, he won the soup cook-off with a really very good Italian chicken noodle soup, which was outstanding. His son, Bill Carr Jr., his construction company, they helped to pay for all that stuff so we could sponsor everything and have some fun there. So we had a lot of fun with him. Crable Excavating. There we go. There's Bill Carr. We want to thank him. Billy Jr., he does anything from roofing to siding, garages, additions, whatever you need. Give him a holler. And again, Crable Paving and Excavating. Dale and Daryl Crable and all the guys over there, want to thank them. They did a great job for us, and they helped to sponsor our soup cook-off last week. So it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, my guy Frank Morgan, he helped us out. He hooked up when we were looking for somebody to take care of our pie eating contest. He jumped right in. We want to wish him a speedy recovery. He's got a new hip put in last week, so all our best to Frank Morgan. Again, thanks again for all that you helped us out with. Now, quickly before we get rolling, the state finals were over the weekend up in Hershey. A lot of good football up there. Middletown, which Brett Myers, for all you local people that remember Brett, he was the head coach at Pottstown. He left Pottstown to get back to his hometown in Middletown, where he is a football coach. They made the state finals 2 years in a row. This year came up a little short as Aliquippa beat them 35-zip in a game where Aliquippa really played very, very well. Middletown was undefeated going into the final game, but they ran into a buzzsaw with Aliquippa. That was in the 3A. The 4A, which we had some interest in because Pottsgrove did a heck of a job, won their first state playoff game in the history of the school in the 4A, as Cathedral Prep out of the Erie area played very, very well and knocked off Imhotep. Imhotep was supposed to be like a heavy favorite, I think, but 38-7 was the final in that ball game. That was the 4A. The 5A, Penn Hills out of the Pittsburgh area knocks off Manheim Central. I was anxious to see how Manheim Central was going to do. They were undefeated. They lose 36-31. And, of course, in the granddaddy, the 6A, which we were all pulling for Coatesville, we were hoping for Coach Ortega and his guys to get in there, but they ran into a buzzsaw Harrisburg team who runs into a buzzsaw St. Joe's Prep. St. Joe's Prep wins 40-20 in that game. So that is our wrap-up for the state finals out of Hershey here in the PIAA football games. All right, well, here we got our guys. We got Randy Reber, former longtime coach in the area. You name it, he coached there and did a heck of a job. Primarily, I guess, Pius would be your number one school. Also spent some time at Phoenixville. He's now an assistant with Springford. And, of course, Dave Caldwell, longtime coach at Springford High School. Guys, thanks again for stopping in. And whenever it starts getting cold outside, we know it's time to get inside and get in on the hardwoods. And Reeves, how many years for you now?
45.
45 years.
45 years, yep.
Wow.
And it's surprising to be sitting here next to Coach Caldwell. Years back, I don't know if we would have been side by side. We had a real nice run together where had a lot of really good, highly competitive games, and always enjoyed going against Coach.
Absolutely. And we throw Kenny Davis in the middle. We got ourselves a three-way banger on there, with Davis, Reber, and Caldwell. David, it's always good to see you. You sort of retired to the booth, which I still don't think is right. You still should be prancing those sidelines. It's tough to lose good coaches, but it's always good to see you, buddy. And it's time for some hoops, huh?
Yeah, thanks for having me, and it's always great to see you, Coach Reber. You talked about Kenny Davis. Coach, you and I took turns, getting some W's off of each other. Kenny Davis, we were losing 99% of the time.
Yeah. It was great to see him leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a lot of farewell parties for you. See you later, Kenny. And don't let the door hit you on the way out. But yeah, that was some really good times in local hoops. And again, they're starting to pick that up again as the hoops is really starting to get a little bit better here in our area, and a lot of good coaches, a lot of people having some fun with that. Well, each year I do throw out my top 5. This is my preseason top 5, and I actually picked these before the games over the weekend, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to look, but going by what happened last year, and then, of course, some of the players that are coming back for this year, which we're going to talk about. My good friends, Keith and Ronnie Reinhardt, they're always good to us here on the show. I actually ran into Keith the other day at a Christmas party, and he's doing very, very well, and they're busy as heck down at the Hill School, so it's good to see that. Let's see what our top 5 looks like here on the show. There's Methacton on top. A couple big studs coming back from last year's championship team, Norristown. Keep your eye on them. My man Binky and the boys are going to be playing some hoop. Springford always in the mix down there. They're in the 3 slot. Phoenixville and Pottstown at 4 and 5. The 2 teams in the Frontier Division that probably will be banging around. Maybe throw Pottsgrove in there for supremacy in the Frontier Division. But both those 2 schools have some young guys coming back, and we're anxious to see how that works out. But there is our preseason top 5, Methacton, Norristown, Springford, Phoenixville, and Pottstown. All right, Reeves, well, let's start breaking it down a little bit. Let's just start with the big schools, and we'll go alphabetical for no reason at all other than let's go alphabetical. Boyertown, let's start over there. Coach Ludwig is in his 10th season. Last year, obviously, they had some nice individual play. Jerry Kapp was certainly a guy who not only played well in football on the gridiron, but also took it in the middle in the court on hoops and stuff too. So he's going to have some big shoes to fill over there. Looks like they're kind of in a rebuilding year. They were only 8-14 last year. Not what I think Coach Ludwig was hoping for.
Right, and they got off to a tough start over the first game. Lost rather lopsided. But I think that's part of the maturation that Coach is going to have to go through with a very young squad. Really only one player that had significant playing time last year. So I think Coach Ludwig's going to be trying to find his way this year, and it's going to take a little while because there's a lot of balance in this league, and trying to get a young team started, it could lead to some long, tough nights.
David, you talked and you had done some preview shows previous to this with Gus and the gang at the PCTV network, and you say you always go over there, and Mike always has a good practice. He's got a good practice schedule. There's spirit, there's activity, and it's sort of a head scratcher for us.
Yeah, it's certainly a head scratcher, I think, for everybody, because I think he does a great job. They're organized. They have notebooks out. The kids, like I said, as you mentioned, are spirited. They always are well coached in practice and everything, and then the transfer from the game to the practice is where I think the head scratching goes on, and I'm sure Coach Ludwig has scratched his head more than we have, but good guy, and wish him good luck with like Coach Reeves said, a real young team this year.
Yeah, well, they have a couple of guys coming back of note. Hunter Borgman at 6'3", and one of their young guys, Eric Salata, as a point guard. He's a sophomore. I know they have some promise for him, but again, they seem to struggle offensively, Reeves. They don't score a lot over there, and I don't know if it's their style, their slow down, but again, when you're scoring 5 points a game less than you're giving up, it's tough to win a lot of games.
It's hard to be consistent offensively against teams that, come after you, give you multiple looks, and you're young. If you have a veteran point guard or some veteran players, you can sort of play through that, but it becomes very difficult with young teams to adjust and score the ball.
Yeah, I said, defense has always been something. I know you preached a lot, David. I mean, I was down there and watched you guys play. We watched you practice for years at Springford, and defense is certainly a way that when you're having an off night offensively, you can always dig down and play some pretty good D.
Yeah, no question about it. Defense gives you a chance every night. It's all about effort. It's all about teamwork and communication. Every program in the country, NBA, NCAA, high school, you're going to have off shooting nights. Can you play that solid defense and hang in there maybe when you're struggling for a quarter or two, or finding your rhythm or finding the range?
All right. Well, our next school is our defending Pioneer Athletic Conference champions, the #1 preseason in my top 5 pick, Methacton. Jeff Durstein has done a nice job down there. He's going into his 9th season already down in Methacton, 18-8 overall last year. They had some pretty good players. They won a lot of ball games, Reeves, and they got a couple guys coming back that everybody knows who they are.
Absolutely. They got the returning. He was the second leading scorer in the league last year, so he's the top returning scorer. In Dave Duda had 77 threes. I mean, he'll get it up any place on the offensive end of the court. Witnessing that in the championship game last year against us at Springford, and he can score the ball. Had 38. But they also have the inside presence with Jeff Woodward, 6'9". Now you can dump. He's really developed offensively, and he's a force defensively. And I like some of the complementary players, like last year, Brett Eberle.
Yeah.
Eberle was a sophomore, but I thought he was really a catalyst that really pushed them to be the Pac-10 champs.
We talked. Champs. I'm sorry, Randy. We talked a little bit before we went on the air, and you liked their team. You liked the fact that Woodward at 6'8", 6'9", he's not a skinny guy. Last year as a sophomore, now this year as a junior, and he's starting to develop a little bit of that inside game, which you really like, Dave.
Yeah, it's very old school. He's locked inside. You watch the NCAA and you watch the NBA on TV, and everybody's playing face up. The Sixers are running Joel Embiid out to the top of the key and shooting threes. And it's nice to see a little bit of that. Now, I know Woodward's been working hard on his game and trying to develop that high post jumper, but I love his ability to drop step and seal guys and just go to the tin and be strong. And with his body and his aggressive play, boy, he's a real great compliment to Duda and the rest of those guys who can bury things from the perimeter.
Well, you talked about Duda really being one of those shooters. You know, they don't have a conscience. They can start out 0 for 5, 0 for 6, 0 for 7, and they're going to keep throwing it up there. The only way they're going to make them is to keep shooting them, Reeves. And you know, you talked about he had 38 against Springford last year in that final game where he got hot in the second half. So they certainly have some guys who can score. Scoring won't be an issue for the Warriors.
And they run a system. You know, Coach Durstein does a great job. The kids buy into it. There's a lot of screening, a lot of fades, and they get open shots. And he has them playing together. You know, he's been very successful down there in his 9 years.
He certainly has.
Yeah, and Coach, I agree with that. You know, that's the thing that I always admire about Methacton is the play he gets from everybody, and you don't see the body language. Everybody makes contributions. They play hard. They play well together, and those kinds of things are big ingredients to team success.
All right. Well, of course, Norristown is a team that, you know, had years and years and years been very, very good, perennial champs in perennial District 1 play. Binky Johnson back down there now in his second year. Certainly a name that everybody knows about from the Norristown basketball family for sure. Had a good year last year. A lot of youngsters, 18-10 overall. They made a couple runs there in the postseason. David, Binky Johnson in Norristown, keep an eye on them.
Yeah, they brought him back, and they wanted to kind of bring back the pride the Eagles have had for so many years. You know, it was interesting, their first state run since like the 1990s. You know, you can't imagine that.
It's been that long, I know.
You know, when I saw that stat, it kind of jumped out. It's like, wow, it's been that long. And I know the community's back on board. The kids are back on board. And obviously they're very excited when they get the addition of Cam Reddish's younger brother, Aaron, who's transferred back, because that was one of the criticisms. A lot of kids were leaving. A lot of kids were leaving Norristown and going to other schools. Cam Reddish, we're talking about the super freshman at Duke. So his younger brother comes back from Westtown and takes one of maybe the most talented roster and adds another piece to the puzzle, Coach Reeb.
Yeah, it certainly elevates the roster with him. I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5"-ish, you know, athletic as can be. You know, they come at you, and they're sort of a rarity. They come with like 3 left-handed starters, which you don't see that often. And we'll get a look at them tomorrow night down at Springford. But you have to expect high things. They had the best record in the Pac last year, interdivision and out. And he can get it. Binky does a good job of making them get after you. So you got to be ready to play, ready to protect the ball against them.
And a couple other guys, McKeel Allen and Vernon Tubbs, 2 guys who were good players last year, David. So you throw them into the mix with Reddish, and now you certainly do have a pretty good triumvirate there to build on.
Yeah, and coming off giving Plymouth Whitemarsh all they can handle over the weekend. Plymouth Whitemarsh opening their brand new gym, their brand new facility, packed house. You know, PW has a 7'3" guy going to Florida State, and they gave him all that they could handle on the road. I thought that was an impressive performance. You know, you hate to talk about, you know, hey, we're happy with the loss, but Coach Binky had to be happy with how those young kids performed.
In front of 3,000 to 4,000 fans, and to perform on, you know, your opponent's court like that, and be in the game with a stud like PW had, you know, that says something about Norristown.
Naheem McLeod, y'all, remember that name, 7'3". He had 41 out of the 66 as Plymouth Whitemarsh squeaks by Norristown in it. What a heck of a game, 66-61 down there. But I was really anxious. You know, all these years we've been doing these postseason games, and we go down there to Colonial Middle School on that little dumpy place, and whether it was Pius or Pottstown, Springfield, whatever, and we were down there doing games. Now they got this beautiful new gym. I hope we get an opportunity to get there and see what they got rolling there.
Yeah, it should be a nice venue.
Yeah, pictures looked great down there. So keep your eye on Binky Johnson and Norristown. All right, David, your alma mater, Owen J. Roberts, Kevin Kirby in his 6th season. You know, they've had some issues over there. Last year they had a solid season, 14-10 overall. Still trying to find some, consistent scores over there in Bucktown. But they get a couple kids back. They lose May, but they get David Heiser, and I'm anxious to see this Marcus Martin, who had a good year on the gridiron for him, play as well. But what do we expect to see out of the Cats this year, Dave?
I think they'll be solid. I know they're a little disappointed. They're a little banged up right now, Coach, if I'm correct. They had some guys in there who struggled to score the ball over the weekend. They really struggled against Great Valley. But I think once they get those players back, I think they're definitely going to be competitive. And, Coach Kirby, a 14-10 season in that rugged Liberty division, I tell you what, it's a pretty good season up in Bucktown.
And I think he actually even got into the district
Yes.
play, which was the first time in quite a few years. And they have, a real nice player in Savon, David Heiser, who can score the ball, shoot the three ball. And I think that, like Coach said, they're trying to get the supporting cast together. And they're a team that, as the season goes on, I think they're going to cause a lot of trouble later in the year.
All right, well, let's go back to a place you guys are familiar with, Springford. What's going on down at Royersford? Chris Talley in his 6th season already. My man Talley from the Valley. 1-1. They started out this year. They split the first couple of games. Last year, averaged 59 a game, giving up 55. But Noah Baker certainly is a guy that people know about. He had a really good year on the football field. He was sort of a surprise guy for Coach Brubaker. But what's happening down in Royersford, Coach?
Well, yeah, certainly everything that we do offensively, I think we need to go through Baker a little bit because he can make a lot of good things happen. He's off to a real good start, playing really well, great attitude, trying to lead the squad right now. Robert Bobeck, another senior returning starter. They were the keys this past weekend in us scoring the ball. We need a little more consistency from the rest of the lineup. Having only scored 44 points on Saturday against a real tough Central Bucks West team. But I think, another team, as players, develop and mesh together, as the year goes on, we're going to be, I think, a tough out for teams.
David, I know as a team, obviously, you took a lot of pride in building that program down there, and they hadn't really been known much as a basketball school for a lot of years. Football, wrestling, baseball had been mainly what Springford was known for, but you certainly put them on the map on the hardwood floors in the wintertime. What's happening down there? You're still patrolling the hallways, and I'm sure you hear what's going on in Springford.
Well, these guys are doing a great job, and I appreciate the kind words. And I didn't put them on the map. The kids put us on the map, but I appreciate the kind words because we had so many kids who just worked their tail off. In fact, we're having the guys from the 90s, all the players from the 90s coming back, and I always tell people they were like the founding fathers down there, got us going. They put us on the map winning. We didn't win championships yet, but they got a winning attitude and a winning work ethic. And Chris and Coach Reber, and they reload every year, and they got some big challenges this year because Norristown and Methacton are really loaded.
Well, I used to laugh at you guys because I said they had to take 2 buses to their away games, one for the players and another one for the coaches, because you guys always had like 37 coaches down there. And our poor guys up here at Pottstown, was just Kenny, it was just me, it was, 9th grade, 10th grade, and varsity, but you guys always had a good-looking group down there, and your coaching staff certainly has transcended now.
Well, thanks, and I think Talley from the Valley has learned well because I think he has more coaches than I did. So he's taking it to the next level.
Yeah, we couldn't even get guys to get all the balls and put them on the racks before games and stuff because we didn't have enough guys. You guys got guys to take care of everything down there. It's always been good. It's always a lot of fun to get down to Springford and see a game, though.
Yeah, it's really fun being down there, having coached against Coach Caldwell, but on one of his best teams that he ever had, you had Chris Talley and Matt Kurtz, who are the staff. And now I'm sitting there working for them and with them, and so it's sort of neat to be able to still be involved with 2 great players from a great program.
Well, I still love the old gym. We had a lot of fun at Father Doyne. That was always a great place. We were up on the stage calling the games. Then we'd go over to Springford, and it was across the street yet in the old gym, and we'd sit right. Dick and I would sit right in the middle of all the student body. They'd have all their white T-shirts on. They'd all be printed up, and they'd be yelling Dick and Dave. Cheers and stuff like that. That was always a lot of fun down there.
It was a great time, and it was the heyday with you guys, and what was really neat was it was really important to your student body. It was really important to our student body. It was the thing to do. And I kind of missed that a little bit because you don't see quite as much student involvement as you used to. It was the thing to do, and love to encourage all the schools to get their students out for all the games on the PCTV network this
All right.
winter.
Well, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the other schools in the Pioneer Athletic Conference. Again, Randy Reber, Dave Caldwell, and myself. We're having a lot of fun on our annual basketball preview show right here at the PCTV Network studios.
Quarterback right after this.
Fred Beans Ford of Boyertown is located on Route 100, just 2 miles north of Boyertown. Fred Beans Ford provides automotive sales, service, parts, and body shop all in one place. They're open 6 days a week. Fred Beans Ford in Boyertown can be reached at 800-222-0243, 800-222-0243, or online at fredbeans.com.
Doc's Irish Pub, the hottest new sports bar around. From live entertainment to countless draft beers. From awesome burgers to the new outside tiki bar. Numerous TVs and Doc's friendly service. Doc's Irish Pub is the place to be. Stop by Doc's today for a leisurely lunch, a quick cold beer, or a delicious bite to eat on a fall night. Doc's Irish Pub.
Welcome to the office of John H. Griesmer Jr., where we believe in the value of relationships. We take pride in giving you the assistance you need, whether that's income tax, payroll, or financial statement preparation. Located in Boyertown, we are committed to meeting the needs of the people in our community, and our team of skilled financial professionals look forward to working with you. John H. Griesmer Jr. Call us today or visit our website now. We're back here at the PCTV Network studio. Again, Dave Ridenour, the Vallejo's Dunn Insurance Monday morning quarterback, Randy Reber, Dave Caldwell. And one of the teams we wanted to talk about quickly was Perkiomen Valley. Perkiomen Valley's done a nice job down there. Coach Poisden going in his 7th season already. Man, time is flying. Tyler Stretche is a guy, obviously, that people know about, a baseball guy. He's going to West Virginia to play baseball, a heck of an athlete there. And, Rand, you think that if he wanted to play a little hoop somewhere, he could certainly do that as well.
He can shoot the ball, and he can shoot it from deep. He was a complimentary player back in the championship days with Jaworski there.
Yeah.
But, boy, he's taken over and can score. If you're going to beat Perk Valley, you certainly have to really control him.
Well, they like to play that half-court game. It's going to be in the 40s day, so it's going to be a slow-down game. You're not going to see a lot of run and gun like you will in some of the teams out here, but they're going to be disciplined. They're going to play well. And, again, Stretche had 33 threes last year, averaged a little bit over 15. He's certainly going to be a focal point of that squad.
Yeah, no question about it. And you talk about being in the 40s and him going to West Virginia. I'm thinking, 40s, they might not get as many as West Virginia football team does.
Yeah, really.
Basketball court.
Absolutely. They got some good teams going on down there. And then tomorrow night, we open up our season right here on the PCTV Network. Dave and I will be calling that one right here at Strum Gymnasium. We're going to open up the Pioneer Athletic Conference. 2 Frontier teams, Pottstown and Pottsgrove. A game that always creates a lot of fun and excitement. And what better way than to start off our 2018-19 season than right here at Yogi's Place, Strum Gymnasium, as Pottstown and Pottsgrove open up our 2018-19 season. And Rand, we'll start with you a little bit on that one. How's that breakdown for you? 2 pretty good squads. You could like to run the ball.
Well, you got 2 squads that had a good weekend. Start off both of them going 2-0. So being confident going into this game, I think feeling good about what they're trying to do. Coach Palladino taking over Pottstown, having read and talked to people that are very impressed with the team style of play that Pottstown had this weekend. I know in the second game, 4 players scoring in double figures. I mean, that's a great formula for success, where you can spread the ball around, get everybody involved. It makes it a lot much more difficult for the opposing team who you're going to shut down, because if you can spread the ball around, you're going to stay in games. Pottsgrove's going to come at you with two really good players in Clark and Robinson, all league players. So you see a little difference in approach there. But I think from history, both teams are going to get after each other, and I think you got a good one to start the year off.
Well, Jack Flanagan is a guy that we had known from Pope John Paul. He helped to start that program down there when the school was put into place, if you will, a few years ago. Now he's going into his third season at Pottsgrove already, so he's got to be able to implement his program and getting the things done that he wants to do, David.
Yeah, it's got his third year of an imprint, and I always think that's important. Coach Palladino's doing a great job. Going from Pottstown to Pottsgrove's got to be different. I kind of think of you, Coach, going from St. Pius to Springford, and then we got Coach Flanagan going from PJP to Pottsgrove. And guys, it's always exciting. It's always intense. And really look forward to that matchup tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I don't want to see Palladino wearing anything that's like maroon and white ever again either. I know he's all jacked up because he went to Pottsgrove. He was able to coach there. Now he's with the big boys now. He's with Pottstown. We're going to see how Coach Palladino does. I'm sure he's going to do all right. And a big dude like him, he's going to roll that team. As we said, Reeves, get that team effort in there. They have, Deschelle and Bass and Brown and all those guys. They certainly have some names of guys who played well last year as underclassmen, and we'll see how they work out with Coach Palladino here in year number 1. All right, let's go down to Phoenixville. Eric Burnett in his 5th season. They have a lot of guys coming back. They have a bunch of younger guys coming in. They lost their big boy, Jenkins, who was 6'6", was really their only size guy. Now they have a bunch of perimeter-type players. Talking to Coach Palladino, he says they like to play around that circle, Rand, and we'll see what they can do from the outside.
And you can be successful that way. Had a lot of teams over the years when I was a head coach that, we went 4 out, 5 out. And you can play, they always say, well, how are you going to guard, the opposing team that has more size? They have to guard us, too. So you can find a way to defend if you're small, if you give a good effort, and you can score the ball. And I think that's sort of what Coach Burnett is going to do down there. Have his shooters get out there, run a lot of screens for them, and let the ball fly. So
Brown, Quinn, and Hamilton last year made second team all Frontier Division, so they have some guys coming back, and KJ Quinn already has committed to play at Immaculata, Dave. So there's some talent there.
Yeah, and Coach Burnett was a terrific three-point shooter at Springford and shot it well at Ursinus as well, and he knows how to groom those guards and space out the floor. And I agree with Coach Reber. In this day and age, boy, you got to guard the 3, and we always had to with his teams. If you don't get your feet out past the 3, these guys are going to lock and load and drain it on you.
All right. Well, in the last 2 schools we have are the 2 uppers, Marion and Perk, Upper Perkiomen. The team, first of all, Upper Perk, who really had a successful year. They had been down for a long time, and Jared Krupp has been there now. This is going to be his 6 years, but they had, Ryan Kendra, who's their all-time leading scorer. They had Liam Boyle, and so they had some guys who could score. They had their best season ever at 15-9. However, man, they're going to have to really find a way to score the balls. They lost all that production, Dave.
Yeah, and it was really exciting to watch Upper Perk last year, because you knew how down Upper Perk was for a long time, and Jared has done a tremendous job to get that group of seniors together. But now, it's almost like starting over again, for him, and that'll be his challenges and selling those kids. And when you're young, you just got to be enthusiastic and coach them up and throw them out in the line of fire and learn the hard way.
And I think that one thing with Jared there is he's gone through this before. So I think he has an idea how he wants to try to get himself back there again with the young players and what he needs to do to develop them. Sort of like the other new coach in the league is going to have to try down at Pope John Paul. Brennan Stanton down there, first-year coach, who played in the league. He understands, having gone to Lansdale Catholic when they were still in the league, and then graduated from Gwynedd Mercy. Young fellow, enthused. He got his first win.
Yeah,
first
1-1. Yeah, 1-1.
So, he has an idea what he wants to do. So, you have him and Coach Palladino as taking over squads in their first year. with these teams.
Well, I think one of the things for Coach Stanton is that they were very senior dominated last year, so they have a bunch of young guys that he can sort of mold his way now. He doesn't have a whole bunch of seniors coming back, and sometimes as a new coach, it's tough to get those guys A, into your system, and then B, to adjust that, hey, maybe some of these younger guys are going to get a chance to play too, Dave.
Yeah, no question about it. And it's funny you mention that, because it certainly can be a challenge for anybody coming into a new program, what's left over. And it's funny you talk about coaching and stuff, and I look, Coach, at all the rosters. You know, Coach Ludwig's been the longest at the school, 10 years. 10 years. 10 years. And I think back to the days of when I started coaching, when we had you and Coach McGee, and we had Kenny Davis, and we had George Rocco. We had some guys that were just old school generals that were at that school for 15, 20, 25, 30 years, and now the longest tenured coach at one school is Mike Ludwig. So it shows you how times have changed.
Well, you know, what's really funny is because I just coming off the football season, Chad Brubaker was there for 9 years. Everybody else was 5 or less. Most of the guys were either first or second year in the football division too. With Penny Packer retired after 29 years, but they had so many young guys, and it was so exciting to see. And again, there is that anticipation of like, well, what are we going to see out of these guys? And I'm sure you guys can think back to when you were first starting out and coaching, and you know, you go in there full of vim and vigor, and you think you know it all, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, what are we going to do? But from the first to the second and the third, fourth years, Rand, you see a lot of maturing and a lot of things being able to be put into place.
Yeah, if you can endure that, and a lot of the young coaches today, the fellows that get in at a younger age, they want instant gratification and success. And it doesn't happen. You know, you have to work it. As Coach had just said, you need time to get your program up and running and install, you know, your philosophy. And that's 3 years, 4 years in. And sometimes these younger coaches are all ready to get out at that point because they haven't had success, and they use the I started a family, I'm getting out, this and that. You know, I didn't have a family, you know, before I started coaching, and I had 4 kids, you know, and that all got involved in the game and still coach. So, you know, we're dinosaurs. I don't think you're going to see a lot of people coach for, you know, 25, 30, 35 years anymore.
Well, you know, one of the other things I wanted to touch on quickly before we have to say goodnight and welcome our coaches on here is, you know, they changed the playoff system. They have the 6-team deal now. And Dave, maybe you can clue everybody in on what they wanted to do. Everybody had been all fired up for the Final Four. That was always everybody's goal. But now they have changed it to 6 teams to add a couple in there as well.
Yeah, the top 6, and correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, the top 2 from each division. Right. And then there's 2 wild card, the 2 with the best record of the other remaining teams. What I think is nice about it is all the tiebreakers are back in place. So, you know, you got every game is important. Like, believe it or not, I think this game tomorrow night, Pottstown-Pottsgrove, is really going to be important because there's not that many games anymore. It's not like the old days when we used to play everybody twice. You play 18 or 20 games. It's down a little bit now. Granted, with the new schools, Norristown and Upper Marion, it's back up to 16 again. But every game is really important.
Well, it's kind of interesting to me, too, because last year the first two seeds, 1 and 2, get a bye. Last year, Springford was the 5th seed, and Phoenixville was the 4th, and Methacton 3, and O&J 6. And out of that, Methacton wins, and so does Springford. Then they play Upper Perk and Norristown the next night, and they're the 1 and 2 seeds, and they both got bounced which was their first round, which was in the semifinals, and then Methacton and Springford play in the finals. Yep. So you never know with that system how it's going to work out. And I said last year we had the 3 seed Methacton and the number 5 seed Springford. Methacton wins the championship 72-60, so everybody does have a shot.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is Methacton wins the championship last year, and then they turn around and they got to play PV in the first round of district, and PV bounces them out.
Beats them out as well. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, it starts tomorrow night right over here at the Strum Gymnasium. Again, Dave Caldwell and I will be calling that game for the PCTV network. We hope to see you out there and supporting the kids. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for stopping by again. Got some food over there. Grab a bite to eat real quick. We're going to get the 2 coaches that we have mic'd up, and when we come back from this commercial break, we're going to have a couple of coaches from the area right here on set on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this. Doc's Irish Pub, the hottest new sports bar around. From live entertainment to countless draft beers. From awesome burgers to the new outside tiki bar. Numerous TVs and Doc's friendly service. Doc's Irish Pub is the place to be. Stop by Doc's today for a leisurely lunch, a quick cold beer, or a delicious bite to eat on a fall night. Doc's Irish Pub. The newly remodeled and renovated Creekside Sports Bar and Grill sits on the Landis Creek Golf Course. Featuring live entertainment and weekly specials, the Creekside offers something for everyone. Discounted beer and wing prices during all Eagles games brings a being at the game feeling. With tailgating, big screen TVs, and wearing your team colors, you can bring the fall spirit to Creekside. So stop by the Creekside Sports Bar and Grill and see all the fun things it has to offer.
Fred Beans Ford of Boyertown is located on Route 100, just 2 miles north of Boyertown. Fred Beans Ford provides automotive sales, service, parts, and body shop all in one place. They're open 6 days a week. Fred Beans Ford in Boyertown can be reached at 800-222-0243, 800-222-0243, or online at fredbeans.com.
Back in 1949, Claude A. Reinhardt founded his family business, which has served the Pottstown and Tri-County area for over 50 years, specializing in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting, paper hanging, and brick restoration. Thanks to the commitment of tradition and values, Claude A. Reinhardt Painters has once again received this year's Reader's Choice Award. So if you're thinking about having an estimate or just need some good advice, give Ron or Keith Reinhardt a call and put your painting and decorating needs in our hands.
Welcome to the office of John H. Griesemer Jr., where we believe in the value of relationships. We take pride in giving you the assistance you need, whether that's income tax, payroll, or financial statement preparation. Located in Boyertown, we are committed to meeting the needs of the people in our community, and our team of skilled financial professionals look forward to working with you.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
And don't forget about our Christmas show next week. We'll be live at Doc's Irish Pub over there. It's next to the former Zerns. Believe it or not, Zerns is closed down. Man, that's an institution and a half. But we'll be right next door at our Christmas show next week. Santa and all of our special guests will be there. Come on over and check us out, 638. We got giveaways. We got all kinds of prizes. We have Kim and Paul who sing for us as well. So a lot of fun over at Doc's Irish Pub on Swamp Pike in Gilbertsville. All right, guys, well, we're back here on the basketball preview show. We certainly have two two guys here that everyone knows have been involved in high school hoops and high school athletics for a long, long time. We have the athletic director and the girls coach from Springford, Mickey McDaniel, and also Scott Palladino in his first season here at Pottstown, formerly of Potts Grove. Guys, I want to welcome you to the show. I want to thank you for stopping by. And as I mentioned to the guys earlier, it's getting a little cold out now, Mick, so we got to move indoors. The fall season's over. I know you were busy as heck with all your things going on down there, but it's kind of fun to be indoors and playing some hoops again.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having us. I've always enjoyed this time when we get together.
Have a good time. And Scotty, obviously, you're back there pacing the sidelines now. How long were you away? 2 years?
Yeah, it was 2 years.
2 years you were away?
Yeah.
And would you have the itch to get back? Or
Definitely. I mean, yeah, I knew it was going to be a short break. I needed to just recharge my battery and get back, but I'm excited as all get out to get back in and, get back to coaching.
Well, 13 years, I guess you were at the Potts Grove?
Yeah, I was 3 years as JV coach, and then I spent 10 years as the head coach.
Okay, and again, we were just talked about that right at the end with Dave and Randy. It says, you don't see so many people with the longevity that we used to, with the Kenny Davises and the Rick Pennypackers and all those kind of people that stayed in there for years and years and years. Mick, you've been around. You've been an assistant for a long time, and now this is going to be your sixth season, I believe.
Sixth season, that's correct.
Sixth season as the head coach. So what was one of the biggest differences that you found from going from the head, assistant coach to the head coach? What did you see you had to transition into there?
I was very fortunate. I got to work with Dave Caldwell for a number of years, and then as an assistant, and then was on with Jeff Ronheimer for a long time. I guess we were about, 20 years or so, and maybe 23, I'm not sure. But the one thing Jeff he really allowed me to kind of feel I was in that role, and allowing me to be able to run the defense, the inbounds plays, different things of that nature. So he kind of put me in that position where the transition was very easy. The administrative part of it was always something there for me. So Jeff made a very easy transition 6 years ago.
Well, that's, I think, one of the great things when you have a head coach who is confident in himself, who's comfortable in his own skin, that he can allow the assistant coaches to do what you asked them to do. You work on the inbounds plays, you work on the defense, we're working on our special things. How do you approach that?
I approach it the exact same way. That as a head coach, I always want to delegate different things to your assistants. It just makes them feel like they're part of the whole program, and the kids have to not just listen. I always just because it's not coming from the head coach, you got to listen to it. So we kind of broke it down like Mickey said, like offensively and defensively, and I did that with my old coaching staff. Over at Potts Grove, we delegated. One of the coaches had offensive stuff, and the other one was focusing more on I focused more on the offensive stuff.
We make sure of that too in practice, where at times, even today in practice, I have one of the assistants. Okay, you're going to run this drill. You're going to teach this drill. We all know what we're teaching, but I think it's always good for everyone to hear a different voice. Just what Scott said. And by the way, we were scouting. We had a scrimmage Saturday morning against Gloucester Catholic. Then went out to scout. We saw PJP, Potts Grove, and O&J. And in between, I got to see Pottstown play the boys, and I was really impressed with Scott's team. They were playing to his personality. They were all over the floor. They were defending. They were looking for opportunities, and just the energy they had was really impressive. So Scott was really,
Thank you.
I was really impressed.
Well, that's good to hear. As we said, we're starting tomorrow night, Potts Grove, Pottstown, and again, it's going to be a game. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of mixed emotions coming from Scott. I knew you from when you were a youngster, and you went to Potts Grove. You loved the Potts Grove. You coached there. It was sort of like your dream thing, and now you're across the street to Pottstown there. I'm sure it's going to be a little funny for you tomorrow night.
I'm not going to lie. I took some razzing from not just my friends, but some former players. But to me, it's been a smooth transition. If you look at the style of play that we had at Potts Grove, it just transitioned so well over to Pottstown. It's athletic. We like to get up and down. They like to put pressure on teams, and they just had the right formula over there, and it was kind of just fell into my lap. I was just lucky. And I'm thankful that I landed where I'm at.
Absolutely. And the one thing we can't coach effort. Right? And those but your kids really came with an effort, and that made everything just flow and jive, and the rhythm was cool, was really well.
Thank you.
Really good.
And, you know, I coached the ninth graders at Pottstown for a long, long time. And again, I was fortunate to coach with Kenny Davis and with him and a bunch of good people. But, you know, getting back to the assistants and all that, it's good to have those assistants because I think the kids respect them then as well as a coach.
Absolutely.
You know, it's, like you said, it's just not the head coach who is doing all the whatevers. They have their little area of expertise. Well, Mick, you guys have certainly had your share of good things happen down at Springford. You know, your girls club has really been the cream of the crop. You've really been a program that people wanted to model against. And tell us a little bit about your girls this year. A lot of them coming back from last year's team, where you had a lot of youth. Tell us a little bit about what we expect to see out of the little Ramettes this year.
First of all, I do want to mention, you know, we have a very, very good feeder program in the sense of our youth program and our middle school and ninth grade program. So we really do appreciate the effort and the commitment that our youth program makes. When you got 600-700 girls and 600-800 boys in the youth league, and they're doing some great teaching
Exactly.
there. Yeah, you're getting some good things are happening.
Hopefully you get 5 to 10 out of them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
It's kind of a pleasure to have 500 kids to be able to draw from.
Well, we're excited about this group. We really are, and they've been working really hard. And you know, yeah, we do have, you know, Abby Goodrich is back, who was an all-conference player. Cassie Marty's back. Liv Olson's back as senior, and Liv is Lucy's sister. And we all Lucy did have a fantastic freshman year, and we're surely hoping she can build upon that. She will build upon that in her sophomore year. But we had those seniors. Ariana Magazola has been a really strong contributor at the guard, and then you have some young people like Alyssa Yuan, Sky Sullivan, you know, some people like that. And then Emily Tiffin came on strong for us at the end of last year. So her and Lucy in the backcourt as sophomores had a very strong impact through the championship game in districts. So, and believe me, we have a lot of really good kids, really good young ladies in the program, and they're working hard. So we're hoping that leads off to success, because our goal is to get better every day. Yeah. You know, that's where our goal is. And if we figure we accomplish that, we're going to reach some of the other goals of what the girls have listed.
Well, you're defending Pioneer Athletic Conference champions. You beat PV. My guy, Johnny Straut. You guys had a pretty good rivalry there for a few years. He coached, actually, he was one of my assistants at Pottstown in the boys' junior high school program for years. And I always liked Johnny. He really took that job serious at PV. And you guys had some pretty good head-to-head battles. But last year, you got the better of them. And, you know, I remember some of the stuff you talked about with your team chemistry and Sarah Cooper and all those people that you had last year. Everything sort of fit right in, and of course the 24-5 season, not too bad.
Yeah, and those seniors, we appreciate what they did. You know, the responsibility of the seniors in our program is that they keep that tradition going and keep that foundation being built upon. And you know, whether they scored a lot or didn't score a lot, or you know, whatever it may have done, their leadership was important to our success last year. And last year we didn't know where we'd be, but that leadership kind of stepped in, and some players really stepped up, and you know, we had some, you know, really good success. And you know, unfortunately, the end of the year we kind of, you know, lost in the district semis, and then lost the third place playback, and then first round of state. So there's some hunger there. I know that. So the returning players, there's a strong hunger.
Well, you know, I guess you were able to do a little bit of stuff in the summertime. And get with your guys anyway, and at least get to know them a little bit. Tell me how that went for you, Scott, trying to get to know these young guys, and they can figure out who Coach Palladino is and what he's all about.
We did do some stuff in the summer, not as much as I really wanted to do, and you know, moving forward, we will do that. You know, that was part of the reason why I think that we were able to turn our program around, you know, over across the street, but. You know, I got the job kind of, you know, I didn't get named the head coach until almost May. And, you know, some of these kids weren't accustomed to doing things in the summer. So they're already involved in AAU stuff, and they're financially committed. So, you know, it was kind of hard to get a whole group together at times. You know, it was frustrating on my part. It was frustrating for the kids that did show up. But moving forward, I mean, that's key. You know, you have to do that. You know, Mickey touched a little bit on the you know, the youth program, and that's something that I started two years ago down there, you know, over there. You know, even before I was a coach, I just thought it needed to be implement it in the community just to get these kids to do things, get them off the street, keep them active, keep them out of trouble. And my first year, you're going to laugh because you just told me you had 800 kids in your youth program. I'm going to tell you that our first year, we had 75 kids come out, and the very next year we doubled that, and it moved to like 145. And this year I'm already having, interest that's peaking 200. And it has to start somewhere, if you don't start it, you have to embed that in them, that it's going to be there, and it'll turn for us. It really will.
Dave, just we have two young ladies, first time in varsity, Gabs Alessandroni, Juliana, her sister played 2 years ago, and Abby Boyer. And they've been really making a strong impact here in the beginning of the year. But, Scott mentions one thing. One thing for us we see with the AAU, it used to be they were kind of all on the same teams.
Yeah.
Now it's really spread out, and you can't get to do as much, Gabs and Abby. I mean, probably every one of our players I mentioned played AAU except Cassie Marty, who's lacrosse, who's going to be going to Lehigh on a lacrosse scholarship. So, but they're spread out on different teams, and it gets tougher to try to bring them together. So we go to Kutztown for 2 weeks in the summer, the AFBE camp and Kutztown camp, and fortunately we're able to get most of those young ladies together, and we can start working on some chemistry. But you're right, it just kind of spreads out itself.
Well, when I was involved with the PAL League years ago, when I was still coaching and Kenny was around, and the basketball was so high in the area, we were running Spruce Street leagues and all that, and it was fun. And there was a lot of kids that wanted to play, and at least get that interest. And you see kids playing on the courts and pick up games and things like that. You haven't seen a lot of that over the last a few years, and unless something was really organized, you didn't see kids out there playing. Hopefully that'll change back to the old days, Scott, and get those kids out there playing hoop.
It is. I mean, you go by the playgrounds anymore, they're empty.
Yeah, they're empty.
It was never like that, growing up.
The nets are even still up. I'm like, that's how bad it is. The nets always were torn down or stolen or whatever, right? So they got nets at all those places. That tells you that, but it was great, and great place to grow up, and I'm sure you're going to get that stuff going again and make it happen. Well, you have some guys coming back that played pretty well last year, Scott. Tell us a little bit about your gang, and obviously you don't want to give too much. I know you got a big game tomorrow night against your old team, but tell us a little bit about Floyd and the boys and the Browns and everybody else.
Yeah, I'm definitely fortunate. When you come in as a first-year coach, a lot of times, the cupboard's empty.
Yeah,
and you got to kind of start from scratch, and I didn't have to do that, and there's a lot of, like I said, we touched on it a little bit, with athleticism and the things that I like to do. It was just a smooth transition, Floyd is a returning guy. He's been playing for 3 years, and he's kind of like the quarterback on the floor, coach on the floor, can kind of get guys in the right spot. And, just getting complementary pieces around him and getting these guys to play together as a team, and in years past, they may have, been ball dominated by one person or only one or two scorers. I'm trying to change all that. The better teams have more options to go to, and Mickey touched on it earlier, and I was so proud of him that in our first game we had four double-figure scores in that first game, and leaving that as your first game as a coach, you can't ask for anything more than that. One of our kids that had double figures was a sophomore, so you have that kid that you can build with him for the next 3 years. So, but it's just getting different guys to contribute every night just makes you more balanced and just more difficult to play against.
So it sounds like you have a pretty good mixture of your seniors, with Floyd and Anthony, and you got Trey Bass, and you got Donovan Towson, and of course the young sophomore. Yes. So it sounds like a pretty good mixture of some good experienced senior upperclassmen and some young guys who can play a little bit.
Yeah, and Anthony's been under the weather for like the last week. He's got strep throat, and he hasn't been there, so he hasn't even joined us as far as playing in a regular game yet. So you add him to the mix, and it only makes us better, But just really stressing them playing together as a unit, and we're not even looking at, you hear coaches say, you want to take everything one game at a time, because I just think that you don't want to look too far ahead. I've even simplified it even more. I've challenged them every game to win every quarter. You just focus on that first 8 minutes, win that first 8 minutes, and then go to the next 8 minutes and win the next quarter. You win all 4. I know it's going to sound simple. You win all 4 quarters of the game, you win the game. You win 3 out of the 4, and you lose 1 quarter, you still could lose the game. So we're trying to break things down and try to get them to focus and win each quarter.
Well, Mickey, I know that you have always wanted to play a tough schedule. You travel, you have the luxury of having a lot of good things, great facilities, great parents and backing. You talked about Pat Nugent. You have a lot of great administrators down there. But, I think that's really paid off for you guys in the long run when you're playing these tough schedules. It's funny because people say, I saw Springford play and then their box scores in the paper. Who the heck are they playing? There's some crazy team from who knows wheresville. Yeah. You've been to Florida. You've been to wherever you've been. That seems to be really working out for you, though.
Yeah, we really take pride in. We've played in Florida a number of times. We've been to the Bahamas to play. New York, D.C., Virginia.
Going to Vegas this year?
No, Arizona.
Oh, Arizona, okay.
We're in the Nike Tournament of Champions. We have not received our schedule yet. We do fly out on the 18th. We play 19, 20, 21, 22, and go back 23. So it's a lot of basketball. We do know most of the top 25 teams are there. That doesn't mean we're going to play any of them. But we're hoping the schedule gets released soon. It was supposed to be this week sometime. So, but yeah, we not only just from the basketball perspective it's that there's more important things in life than athletics. We understand that, but it's life itself. And what we're trying to do there is, for example, when we went to the Bahamas, one of the things we asked the tournament director of KSA was that we want to have some cultural awareness. And we wanted to visit a school. So they took us to St. Augustine's School. And there was a video done about it by the late Steve Bonnets on that. And if you ask our players, and Lexi Nugent was one of them, speaking of Pat's daughter, if you ask them what was the most memorable thing, it wasn't 3-0 winning the tournament. It was spending the day at that school. Yeah. And that's the kind of experiences we're trying to create when we travel. Last year we were in New York. We went to the 9/11 Museum. And listen, we're not the only school doing this.
Yeah. How many girls are going with you to Arizona this year? How many people you take?
Well, we have a traveling party of about 25, but it's just varsity only, and some parents are going
Chaperones,
and so forth. So yeah, we're really excited about it. I've talked to Dory Aldecker at Mount Lebanon, my buddy Dan Ricci up at Ossining in New York, who had Sanaya Chung at UConn. And he's got Aubrey Griffin, who's going there next year, and they said, look, go out there, enjoy. Competition is going to be fantastic. But just go out and play hard and just enjoy the time. So.
Well, one of the things that we talked about with coaching and longevity, Scott's going to be in his first year here at Pottstown. You got Madison Morton at Pottstown, new coach. You got TJ Longergan at PJP. Mm-hmm. Mike, is it Benke?
Benke.
Benke at Phoenixville, and Kelly Sorber taking over for Johnny Straub at PV. So you have 4 new coaches that you have to deal with. So obviously that creates some excitement as well. You don't know what they're going to do or what they want to add to the league and to their team. So that should be fun for you guys as well.
Absolutely, because we're not going to know their personalities and have their philosophies of the game right away. And so, we have Norristown tomorrow and Methacton, but we have PJP on Saturday. So TJ comes from, his father is a fantastic coach. He was at CB East and Gwynedd Mercy. And so he's been taught the game, and he's learned the game. So he's going to be real good in his position, and he's going to have the girls playing really well at PJP and playing disciplined basketball.
Well, again, same as for you a little bit. Now you'll be the first year at Pottstown, and Pope John Paul has a new coach as well, who you'll see because they're both in the Frontier division. So it should be interesting for you to get back in there and match some wits with the guys on the sidelines. I'm sure you're looking forward to it.
Oh, definitely. It is. It's going to be a challenge, to go out and, watch these different coaches and see if, Coach Flanagan's style has changed a little bit. I've been away for only 2 years, but, things change. Yeah. He's going to, when he left Pope John Paul to go to Pottsgrove, I'm pretty sure it's a different, talent base that he has there, different style of play that he's going to instill. So, I'm fortunate because while I was away and all during my coaching career, I also referee. So I get to go out and I see, in the off season, what these programs look like and what they have coming up through the ranks. And so I'm not saying I'm an expert at it, but I do have an idea of, which direction, certain teams are going. But Absolutely, and it's going to be a challenge, just to get back in it, just to see, if things have changed, from what they did in years past.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got two good ones right here. I'll tell you, Mick McDaniel and Scott Palladino, two guys that deserve a lot of credit. They put a lot of time and effort, and anytime you get guys who are willing to dedicate themselves to the young people, to the student athletes, taking them on the trips, teaching them more about basketball's X's and O's, a little bit about life and getting along with one another, team chemistry, all those things. It's very, very important, and we wish you guys nothing but success and continued success. You guys have both done a heck of a job. We'll see you tomorrow night as Pottsgrove and Pottstown tip off the PCTV Network Sports Year. The 2018-19 hoop season will be tipped off at Strum Gymnasium. There you see it, and I'm sure we'll see those Springford girls many, many times here as well. But guys, good luck this year. Stay healthy and have fun, and best of holiday fun for you and all that
too,
stuff.
Dave.
as well.
Thank you
Mick,
very much.
Thanks for having us.
It's always a good time. All right, we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we have more right here on the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this.
Back in 1949, Claude A. Reinhardt founded his family business, which has served the Pottstown and Tri-County area for over 50 years, specializing in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting, paper hanging, and brick restoration. Thanks to the commitment of tradition and values, Claude A. Reinhardt Painters has once again received this year's Reader's Choice Award. So if you're thinking about having an estimate or just need some good advice, give Ron or Keith Reinhardt a call and put your painting and decorating needs in our hands.
Doc's Irish Pub, the hottest new sports bar around. From live entertainment to countless draft beers. From awesome burgers to the new outside tiki bar. Numerous TVs and Doc's friendly service. Doc's Irish Pub is the place to be. Stop by Doc's today for a leisurely lunch, a quick cold beer, or a delicious bite to eat on a fall night. Doc's Irish Pub.
Established in 1916 and granted membership into the Philadelphia Golf Association in 1920, Brookside Country Club is well known for its challenging layout and true fast greens. The William Gordon design provides a challenge for golfers of all abilities. Brookside Country Club offers traditional club amenities in a family-friendly atmosphere. Brookside Country Club, where elegance and excellence are par for the course.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
Dynamic Duo brought to you by Fred Beans of Boyertown. Nothing better than to get over there and buy your honey a new car for Christmas. Go see Denny Malloy and tell us that the good guys over at the Monday Morning Quarterback Show sang a Dave Ridenauer and my buddy Joe C. in the house. Joseph.
What's up, David?
All right, and before we get going, it's serious business here. Our good girl, Debbie Tellis, wife of Gus, who is the CEO of this organization, she had some surgery today, and we want to wish her all the best and a speedy recovery. You know, you see Deb, she's on the sidelines. She is a trooper and a half, so get well soon, Deb. We're going to miss you for a couple of days till you're up and running again, but we hope everything is okay, and we'll get you back out there on that camera. That's a good job that you always do. Again, get well soon, Deb. All right, Joseph. Well, sort of a day in mourning, kind of, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
what?
It was pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Except for the last quarter, right?
Well, you know me. I'm a pretty even-keel guy. I don't get caught up in all this. Yeah, I am. With the pros and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, I don't get all excited. I tell you, I was jumping up on my feet and screaming and hollering a little bit at the TV yesterday, particularly in the first half. I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? Boy, there was a lot of stuff that, I don't know.
I mean, mainly it was the time of possession. They didn't control the ball. You could say whatever you want about the fumble at the beginning of the game, but it wasn't just that. You know, everybody's saying stuff about Goddard with the offensive pass interference.
Terrible call.
Yeah, but they scored. They wound up
But it doesn't
scoring.
matter, though. But they chewed up more
time, more clock. Yes.
So they didn't have time at the end, Joe. See, all those things matter, though.
But you look at the secondary. You look at Sidney Jones out there hobbling around.
Cut him.
Not even cut him, but put him on the bench and put somebody that's at least healthy out there. But the depth, they don't have the depth. Last year, Jalen Mills, they were healthier. And I'm telling you, say whatever you want, without Jernigan being in there, for me, I think that's the biggest part of the defense, because I thought he played really well last year, and with him not being in there this year, I think made a big difference.
He played very, very well. I thought the guy before him even played better, that they let go. I really liked the other defensive tackle, and his name just flew out of my head, that they let go to the Tennessee Titans, that they had to bring in Jerkins. They didn't want to pay him. Benny Logan. Benny Logan. I really like Benny Logan. I thought he was a heck of a player.
And Vinny Curry.
Vinny Curry I didn't care about. I thought Graham and Barnett, and, you know, Michael Bennett, who I am not a fan of, played his best game of the season.
And Derek Barnett's been out. And he, you know what? Yeah. He showed what he had last year, and, you know, going without him as well, it takes a toll. Because other guys are playing more.
Well, Brandon Graham is playing way too much.
Way too much.
Yeah,
they didn't have that.
Exactly.
They didn't have the rotation.
Correct.
Then you throw in the whole thing with DeFlippo being in Minnesota and Frank Reich, and you say whatever you want, and I still don't think Carson Wentz is 100% healthy.
Well, he's not. I mean, look at the way look at that fourth down play where they try to run an option play with and there was bad spacing. You run an option, you have to know what you're doing. There was bad spacing between he and the running back, so the defensive end could play both guys. He didn't know the pitch hitter to keep it, so they tackled him for a 3-yard loss on a 4th and 1 that they're running an option play. The play selection was not very good. Josh Adams, who I'm not going to put him in the Hall of Fame, but he's a productive guy. He carries the ball 3 or 4 times in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden you don't see him the rest of the game.
You know what? I'm not a coach, but when you have a team with as much team speed as Dallas has, and they get up the field, when you do like a little misdirection or a draw play or screen, anything like that, to kind of draw them in and then let them come and then get by them.
Well, the thing of it, they ran that one little semi-screen pass to Sproles, which he scored on, where he was on 1-on-2, and he split the defenders. And those two linebackers Dallas has are very, very good. And they get Sean Lee back and Smith. And they get Sean Lee back. Boy, I tell you what, they make plays all over the place. They blow up plays, you know. And again, I was really upset. And again, Sidney Jones, I'm done with. You know why? Not so much of it, but he's got a hamstring all year. He's not mentally tough. If you want to be a corner, you got to be the toughest guy on that field. I don't care, because you're going to get picked on and you're going to get beaten.
Yep.
But you got to be mentally tough. I mean, he pulled himself out of the game a couple of times. I thought Rasul Douglas played as well as he could play.
Absolutely.
He played as well as he
I
could
agree.
play.
But, you know, what depth do they have?
They have
enough
none.
depth.
And Corey Graham is supposed to be a veteran back there, and he doesn't know the first thing about angles. He takes bad angles every time. He doesn't see things. I don't get it. Malcolm Jenkins is a good football player. He's not the greatest cover guy, but that's his downfall. But he will tackle, and he will give you effort. At least he knows angles and knows how to play running plays and things. He'll get beat by tight ends and stuff in man coverage because he's not that kind of a guy. But Corey Graham stands back there and he's just like, well, what am I doing out here? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I haven't seen you this fired up in a while.
That's what I mean. I was fired up after that game yesterday. I was really mad. I wanted the Eagles to really win that game because you know what?
Yeah.
That makes the last couple of games interesting. They gave them a purpose. Gives you and I something to have fun with here on the show.
Was it this time last year where Wentz got hurt? Was it around this time?
Around
they
this
were
time,
like, what,
yeah.
11-1?
Yeah.
And then he got hurt,
and
11-2?
And I think what Foles played the last two regular seasons.
Two or three. Yeah. So it was right around this time, right?
Yeah. So it's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let's take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to do our things. We're going to do our game balls. We're going to talk a little bit about some other things that are coming up. The Eagles' third down efficiency, 1 out of 9, which is horrible. We'll have some fun here talking about the Eagles in Dallas, but we also have some other things to do. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, the dynamic duo will be right here on set.
Stay tuned for more Monday Morning Quarterback right after this.
At Vlahos Dunn Insurance, we understand what moves people in business and in life, and we use this knowledge to better serve our clients. And we bring the same work ethic and commitment to our business as our customers do theirs. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, providing quality coverage to the Tri-County area since 1994. So call our knowledgeable staff.
Hi, I'm Jim Vlahos of Vlahos Dunn Insurance, and we're in your community.
Doc's Irish Pub, the hottest new sports bar around. From live entertainment to countless draft beers. From awesome burgers to the new outside tiki bar. Numerous TVs and Doc's friendly service. Doc's Irish Pub is the place to be. Stop by Doc's today for a leisurely lunch, a quick cold beer, or a delicious bite to eat on a fall night. Doc's Irish Pub.
Back in 1949, Claude A. Reinhardt founded his family business, which has served the Pottstown and Tri-County area for over 50 years, specializing in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting, paper hanging, and brick restoration. Thanks to the commitment of tradition and values, Claude A. Reinhardt Painters has once again received this year's Reader's Choice Award. So if you're thinking about having an estimate or just need some good advice, give Ron or Keith Reinhardt a call and put your painting and decorating needs in our hands.
The newly remodeled and renovated Creekside Sports Bar and Grill sits on the Landis Creek Golf Course. Featuring live entertainment and weekly specials, the Creekside offers something for everyone. Discounted beer and wing prices during all Eagles games brings a being at the game feeling. With tailgating, big screen TVs, and wearing your team colors, you can bring the fall spirit to Creekside. So stop by the Creekside Sports Bar and Grill and see all the fun things it has to offer.
We're back here. Vlahos Dunn Insurance, Monday Morning Quarterback. Dave Reinhardt, Joe C. Talking a little fantasy football here, and I don't understand, Joe. I won the regular season. I was 11-2. I played the number 2 team, who was 8-5. How do you play?
You couldn't play number 2.
Yes, I did.
No, one should. How many guys are in your league?
10.
So you should. Well, we have 10, and we play. One plays 8, 2 plays 7.
Guess
Three
what?
plays
One
6.
played 2, and I lost to the second place
No,
guy.
it shouldn't be that way.
I know, but that's what ESPN sets it all up. I mean,
okay.
we don't do anything. So I was really upset. And, of course, Kareem Hunt was my guy, and he got kicked out of
And
football.
you couldn't pick anybody. You couldn't pick
Well,
up Spencer Ware?
no,
Who did you pick up?
I didn't. I picked up somebody else. I forget who. But it didn't mean anything.
You
so
didn't pick up Derrick Henry?
no, I didn't. I didn't pick up
he
Derrick
had
Henry. He was
52
already
points.
picked.
Yeah, he had 52
Speaking
points.
of fantasy, let's go by the
All right,
numbers.
let's do it.
My buddy Jack Griesmer, by the numbers, and my fantasy team had been so good all year long. I was 11-2. The second place team was 8-5. I was 3 games ahead, and I think I'm out of it. I think I'm done. Lost the first week, and Roethlisberger got hurt, and he didn't have some good numbers. But I want to thank my good buddy over there, my accountant, my guy. And you know what? By the numbers, you got to go by the guy who helped the guy win. Kittle. Was his name Kittle?
Yeah,
he had 40
Jeff Kittle.
points.
Jeff Kittle.
40-something points.
We had, 7 catches, 210 yards. He had 1 TD.
Oh, I thought he had more than that.
No, he only had 1 TD.
I thought he had like a record number of points.
Nah,
Okay.
whatchamacallit, Derrick Henry did.
Oh,
Derrick Henry had 4 TDs,
Yeah.
230
Well, anyway, that
yards
Kittle
rush.
guy from San Francisco, the
That's
tight
your
end,
guy?
he put the other guy over the top. So
And
again,
even
I think I'm out of it.
and even Amari Cooper had 10 catches
I
for
know,
203
I know.
and 3
3
scores,
touchdowns.
and all 3 of his touchdowns were go-ahead touchdowns.
I know, it's crazy. But anyway, that's our by the numbers, and again, I'm a little disappointed in the way that works because
This is your first year.
it is,
right?
but still, I don't know why I have to play a second place team in the first round of playoffs. I don't
Where's
get
the
that.
flag? Where's the penalty
It is
flag?
the flag.
You need
I
to
had
throw
it.
the penalty
I had
flag.
it too. I had it. The heck
All
with
right,
the
so
ESPN. I lose the
whoever's
trophy.
the commissioner of Dave's
Me,
League.
I am.
You're the commissioner?
Yeah, but I don't know how you do it. All I did was organize.
You have to. Okay, then next year you override what ESPN does,
Yeah.
and then you put your own.
Man, I'll say we're going to
put your own playoff
definitely
scenario in.
override and all that stuff.
All right, okay.
But geez,
All
oh
right.
man.
All right.
Got a game ball, buddy?
I do.
Do you have a game ball?
But you
Okay.
go first, 'cause
All
I
right,
always
we're going to
take
go
your
first.
guy.
All right.
I always take
There's
your
my
guy.
buddy Paul, 943 North Hanover Street. Taking care of my ex-brother-in-law there, too, Jerry Wayock, heck of a good guy. He's been going to Paul forever, so have I. I'm going to go with the Bears defense. I'm going
How about
Bears,
that?
I'm going Bears defense. They held the Los Angeles Rams to 6 points. No one could hold them under 40. Oh, yeah, they were the greatest show on turf. And guess what? The Bears beat them up last night, and it was a great game to watch. It was cold. Old Jared Goff was a little chilly last night.
Huh?
He didn't like that cold. His breath, you could see his breath. He didn't know what was
He
going
had
on
what
out
a
there.
19 passer rating or
It was
something.
terrible. But game ball, Bears defense. Good job.
Yeah,
Joseph, who you got?
I'll tell you what. I like your pick. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. You have Gronkowski back there playing the deep zone when you should have had your D-backs back there because Tannehill is not going to throw it 70 yards into the Hail Mary into the end zone. Of course, they were going to go short and then lateral the ball back. So I want to give it to Miami for coming up with that play. Miracle in Miami.
Belichick, a rare hiccup there. I mean, that was,
he
that was not
laid
good.
an egg there.
To me, you rush 3 guys, you have 8 back, 8 people who can run. Although
Should have had Schwartz's defense.
Well, but yeah, really, his regular defense.
Yeah, give him 20 tackles.
Still, 2 missed tackles though that they should have.
2 missed tackles, and then Gronkowski actually slips.
He did.
Did you see him slip?
Yeah, he did.
When he stumbled, I was like,
Well,
"Oh
it was
my,
funny.
he's going in."
Ryan Clark on ESPN
Yeah.
called him Frankenstein. He said, "You got Frankenstein back there. Frankenstein ain't going to catch a 4-2
I like that
guy."
one. All right, I
Yeah, it
like
was funny.
that.
So
Kenyon Drake.
Was it Kenyon?
Drake?
Yeah, Drake.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake.
And then
Alabama
he
guy.
passed it to Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills laterally to Devontae Parker, who then laterally to Drake.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. They were going crazy. I bet it was a fun time in Miami. South Beach must have been going nuts last night. Well, I don't know. The Eagles convert 1 out of 9. Dallas converts 10 out of 19. And the thing that gets me, Joe, is the Eagles gave up a record number of yards.
Did you see that?
They still played hard defensively, though. 576 yards they gave up. Robin, of course, my little girlfriend.
Oh, yeah,
from
Robin.
Dallas, yeah. She calls me up and says, "Yeah, Dave, just want you to know, first time in Dallas history, they gave up. They had a 400-yard passer, a 200-yard
receiver.
reception, and a 100-yard rusher. all in the same game.
That's hysterical.
That is.
And of course, she made sure you were aware.
Absolutely. She says, you make sure you tell that Joe C. too. I said, I'm going to tell him, Robin, that they were there. She was there needling me pretty good about that. And unfortunately.
I mean, but if you look at it, how many fumbles did Prescott have? At least 2 or 3. He had a few
interceptions.
2 interceptions. So they're turning
They
the
sacked
ball
him
over.
twice.
They were getting to him. They were forcing pressure on him. But they still couldn't capitalize on the offense. And you know what? Say whatever you want to say about, Adams only had 7 rushes. Clement got hurt, okay. But you know what? If you don't have time of possession to run the ball or to get first downs, like you said, 1 out of 9, to keep the drives going, how are you going to run the ball?
Well, maybe they needed to run in earlier downs, Joe. I don't understand why they can't run on first down.
Right.
I don't know why,
Right.
especially when the game is 3-0. The game is 6-0. I mean, for some reason, Dallas let them in the whole first half
Absolutely.
of that game.
9-6.
Holy cow.
I mean,
say
he missed the extra point. But I
Yeah,
felt
I'm
I
tired
felt
of
a
that
little
stuff, too.
bit of Andy Reid in that game yesterday.
Well, he panicked. There's no doubt.
He went away from it, but you still got to grind it out. And these guys have to push off the ball a little
They
bit.
do. They really do. All right, let's get our 5-pack picks in here before we have to say goodnight again this week. And again, I was 4-1. Neil was 2-3, and you were 3-2. Neil had the Redskins twice and in another game. But this week, there we go. Izzy's on 3rd. I'll be there Wednesday night talking to my guys. Hey, get over there Thursday night. They got trivia, real good trivia over there. Kurt and Steve and everybody else are there. So we got to go through this one pretty quick. Tonight, Vikings and Seahawks. Joe.
I'm going to take the where's it at? It's in Seattle,
Yes.
right? I'm taking Seattle.
So am I. Thursday night, Chargers, my new team, at the Kansas City Chiefs. Thursday night football.
Man, you see Mahomes with that no-look pass
Oh, my
yesterday?
God, that's unbelievable.
I'm going to take the Chargers.
I am too. Darn it. All right, here's a good one now, all of a sudden. Dallas at Indy. Andrew Luck is a comeback player.
I'm going to take Indianapolis.
So do I. I'm taking Indy. I can't pick Dallas. Now, my guys, New England, travel to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's struggling, lost 3 in a row.
They are struggling. Connor was out. Roethlisberger got hurt a little bit. But
You're going Pittsburgh.
I'm going now. I'm going New England.
Oh, man. So
Why,
am I.
you too,
Yep.
huh?
Yep. I was. And then, of course, our last game, the Eagles go out to L.A. in the Coliseum. Do they got a chance?
I don't think so.
I'll give you the Rams. I'll take
the
Eagles.
Rams.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
take
taking the
Eagles.
Rams. I mean, come on.
terrible.
Rams laid an egg, and whatchamacallit, they still have to play for home field.
I know.
Because right now they're tied with New Orleans.
Saints.
The Saints, yeah.
Saints are
That's
no joke.
this time last year, we were like,
Yeah, we were
right there.
Yeah,
We
well,
were there. New Orleans.
we were also in mourning a little bit.
Yeah, a
'cause
little
Carson
bit.
Wentz got
Yeah.
hurt. We didn't know what to expect out of.
But you
Nick
never
Foles.
know what's going to happen. They're still in it. They're not out of it. A lot of things have to happen. They can still get a wild card.
And while we say goodbye, Joe, I want to get my picture up there with my little makeup artist, Karen Lewis. She did a great job. I tell you, it was a lot of fun. We had fun at the Hooks last week.
That was.
It
The
a
pie
great
eating
time.
contest, that was great.
It was unbelievable. And the best part about the whole night was we raised over $300 for Christmas presents for underprivileged kids in the Boyertown area. So there we are. Look at me. I was like, I'll tell you what. I could get used to getting pampered like that.
Yeah, I'm
Joe.
sure.
That's the good stuff. Get a mani and a pedi and get a little makeup job there. But Karen does Troy Aikman and everybody. She's really, really talented. She travels around, and she was nice enough to stop by and make me feel good about last week. That's for sure.
Very nice.
That was a
Very
good
nice.
time. But again, I think it was $310 we raised for children, underprivileged children in the Boyertown area for Christmas presents.
Very nice, Dave.
Which I was very, very proud about that as well. Next week we are at Doc's Irish Pub for our last live show of the year, our Christmas show over at Doc's. Joseph will be there. Santa will be there. We got some surprise guests coming. We got some good giveaways. We got Kim and Paul singing. We got Christmas carols. We got all kinds of fun stuff as we bid adieu to 2018. Joe, do you got your Christmas presents done yet?
No, I
Shopping?
do not. I do not. And usually I'm pretty good with that, but I have not. I have not.
Wow. That's not good.
No, it's not.
not
On
good.
Wednesday, I'm hoping to get out
Yeah,
Wednesday.
me too. Wednesday and Thursday morning. I'm going. All right, listen, we'll be over at Strum Gymnasium tomorrow night, PCTV Network, bringing in the first basketball game here against Pottsgrove and Pottstown.
What time does that start, Dave?
Starts at, well, it's starting earlier now, 6:45, probably around 7 o'clock.
Because I saw on the TV on the screen it said 10 p.m., but that's the
replay.
That's the replay.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to go see it live, they need to
7
go
o'clock.
7
Get there
o'clock.
by 7
There you
o'clock
go.
for sure.
All right, good.
He's Joe C. I'm Dave Ridenauer. We're the dynamic duo. Again, thanks for watching the Vlahos Dunn Insurance Monday Morning Quarterback Show.